Okay, so this is against the storm. This is a roguelike city builder. Wait, don't run away. It's alright, we'll be fine. And essentially, I'll sort of explain as we get down into it, but we're not in Britain. It's just, no, I'll let the game explain what's going on.
The world is plagued by the Blight Storm, a vile cycle of destruction ravaging everything in its path. The only safe haven is the Smouldering City, where the mysterious Scorched Queen reigns. You are one of her viceroys, a pioneer sent into the wilds, tasked with establishing new settlements and acquiring valuable resources for the crown. Your goal is to help rebuild the Smouldering City and secure the future of the Queen's subjects.
And okay then, so, as you can just see, that wasn't very pleasant, was it? Probably a good idea to keep her on our good side then. So, let's actually do this. So this is the world map. If I actually click on this button here, this is what it's all about. So in the tutorial, which I skipped over because it's decent, but it's very wordy. So rather than having to just sit down and watch me read out loads of text boxes and all this lot, we'll just have a quick chat when we're getting there. So, when we complete a settlement or we fail a settlement, we'll get a bunch of resources which we spend on this screen here. The first one is just unlocking a deed screen as well as slowing down impatience, which we'll talk about in a second. And this is basically just little achievements that get you more experience. The more we level up, the more the Queen trusts us, or the more shit we can get away with. Anyway, so this is where we can choose where we can put down our first settlement. We can't go far yet. There are multiple biomes in this. There are multiple biomes in the game. This is early access, so they may change to what you see now. For instance, one of the bigger updates changed how the Scarlet Orchard works. But the general rule of thumb is each region is governed by different effects, which you can see up here. We're going to go to the Royal Woodlands first, because that's one of the more tamer, more predictable regions. But also we have little places like this. These little things are modifiers, and they will change how the settlement works, either for the better or for the worse for that settlement. So we're going to put this one down here. We earn food for every hex we have touching it, and any bonus effects from the modifiers. So for instance, if we did choose a negative modifier, we may get more better stuff to then spend improving the city. Once we select our region, we get blindsided by more information. That's fine. There are 4 races in the game currently. We will only see 3 of them turn up per settlement. They are humans, lizards, beavers, and hubbies. Each race has something that they're good at and something that they enjoy doing. For instance, humans like farming and brewing. They're really good at farming, they really enjoy brewing. If you put them in a job where they're doing the thing that they're good at, they may get bonus materials from doing it. If you put them in a job that they like doing, they'll be more content with their surroundings and thus are less likely to abandon the settlement. Should people abandon the settlement or die, this will skyrocket the impatience and we lose quicker. So, whenever we go into a zone, it's always a good idea to double check this screen here. So the raw modifier is making our order choices. Well, I'll explain what those are. So we get an extra one of those, which is nice. And as I say, we get more wood, which is more good, because more wood means more fuel for the fire, which means we live longer. So that's another thing we have to worry about. This severity, these seasonal conditions, will only come in effect. So there are 3 seasons in the game: drizzle, clearance, and storm. We get the good stuff in drizzle, we get the bad stuff during storm. and this is all dependent on the difficulty we have selected. This is important. These two, Settler and Pioneer, are the base game, and with how the tutorial it works, you'll be taken through it and learn how the basics of this are. Beyond that, another mechanic comes into play. I might play with that mechanic eventually, but I would say hold off on that until you're far deeper into your upgrade tree, because you're going to need some extra stuff. The game gives you the basic stuff, and then, well, you'll see as we go on. I'll end this because I really enjoyed this game. So let's go back to our caravan screen. The summary just explains the zone we've got. Another bit of lore there. You also get a bonus for doing this sort. So we get, since we're going to start on Settler, we need 12 reputation to win, 14 will lose. We can continue the settlement after we've maxed it out, after we've won it. The moment the impatient hits 0, we have to leave. So there is a timer on it. It's not a hard timer. We have plenty of ways to reduce it. So don't panic. By God means, don't panic. So, with a caravan, we have two choices here. We can either choose to have a set of 2 races, which we know about, and then 2 additional on top of that, which could be from any particular race. It could be an extra lizard, it could be an extra beaver, it could be the 3rd race we have for the map. Alternatively, we can also go for a massive group of 1 race and go from there. All races can do all jobs, but like I said, there'll be some races which are better at stuff than others. For instance, in a bio we can get more wood, so we don't specifically need beavers who are more efficient at wood cutting and working with wood, so like retrieving the material and all this stuff. I may not need the beavers at the start because we're going to be getting more wood anyway. So we also start off with a bunch of materials here. As I say, so this one does come with a bit more, but of course this doesn't. We always start with at least 20 of these. They're important and stuff, but it's always a good idea to keep an eye on it, because if you notice that there's anything missing or anything you want to add, that's what our embarkation bonus is. This screen over here, if you know how that word's pronounced. So we get 3 points because we're playing on Settler. If I change it to Pioneer, we'll get 2. If I change it to Pioneer, we'll get, thank you, 2. So at the moment we get a Settler and get all 3 if we wanted to. And we can also choose a name for our settlement. We're going to leave it blank when the game decide. I'm going to go with the first one here. So we're getting 6 lizards, 3 beavers. And let's get down there. Factions will come in later, don't worry about that. So, now we know what we're dealing with. So we get a warm... Nice, thank you. We get a warm welcome, so... If we have high resolve, so if you see there's a blue line here, if we're beyond that line, this boosts the reputation gain from it. That is hard to do, because there are various mazes... I will most likely not get this, so don't worry about it. Clear skies, traders arrive by 300%. That's important, because if we are going down the trading route, that's something to consider as well, but it takes resources to build the traders, and the traders will want to buy stuff off us before we can buy stuff off them. It's a trade system, it's bartering, this lot. So they're active now because we're in Drizzle. Once Storm begins, we will get Looming Darkness, which we will always get because it's active from Hostility 0, which we start the game at. Hostility builds as we... Yeah, thank you, game, we're paused. Hostility builds as we grow, perform certain actions and do all this lot. So once we get to level 2 hostility, it's going to increase... it's going to decrease, the amount of resolve we have. So this is going to be a big hit, so everyone's going to get more upset at night, and then it's going to get worse once we get up to level 2. When we get under level 2, either from the use of, as you see here, sacrifices, so burning stuff at our hearth, that bonus will be removed. So, and again, it's only during a certain time. So, If the night comes in and I start chucking logs into the fire, that's why. Now, we know about the Royal Outpost and these, but Settlers Luck will also... This is marked as a... it's marked as a debuff, but it's actually a good thing. 35% of not consuming food, so yeah. Let's get into this. I may have to pause this as we begin. So we start off with 2 buildings already built. This is our main warehouse where everything is kept. Once we've produced the goods in our camp or refining buildings, they have to drop it off at a warehouse. We can build additional warehouses. The stuff inside them is shared. So I don't know what kind of teleportation magic they've got going on with them, but it's always good to know. And more importantly, we have our hearth. If this flame goes out, we have to relight it very quickly, or we will almost certainly lose. It tanks our reputation, and it is a big problem. Now, before we go any further, if I put this up, the lizards, to get higher resolve, we need to meet these additional requirements other than just feeding them. So these are different for every race as well. So for instance, we have pickled goods here, and then we have skewers here. The race, and so we can also choose to have lighter treatment, it'll boost, but it'll take it away from others. So that's a sort of a last resort thing. So, especially when we're first starting out, I'm going to put 2 woodcutters down here to feed our fire. But when we're starting out, you'll notice we don't have a lot of buildings. This is deliberate. And we will be getting these. This is the sort of the roguelike aspect of it. As we... I'm just putting this road down. Roads, they're not required, like say in Anno or any games like that. But a villager gets 10% walking bonus while they're on them, so it's always good to have some sort of road infrastructure. Anyway, so you'll notice these pips on the blue bar here. Once one of these bars is filled, the game is over. We want this bar to be filled before this one. This is the impatience bar. As you see, we already get 0.25. No hostility up here as well. It's worth pointing out that the more impatient the queen is, the less the forest is hostile towards us. It's not going to save us if we're sort of throwing up things and all this. I would say, for instance, we got 22 from villagers and then minus 36 over half. That's something to consider as well, because we will always be getting more villagers. After every year, we will get more in. Anyway, so you'll notice we've got a nice shining icon down here. Aside from the basic bare bones stuff, for instance, if I just chuck a woodcutter down here for that clay. Can I get that? Yeah, forward. Can't scavenge from there. So we'll sort these out in a minute. So we got basic equipment. We also got houses here as well. Shelters. One that is 3 per. Shelters are for every race, so we don't need to worry about separating them out. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 8 is... It's always good to have them because we'll be getting more anyway, so 4's usually a good start. So we are being told to choose blueprints now. So every time we start off with 3, and then every time we gain reputation up to knock one of these pips off, we'll gain another blueprint. When we first starting out, we don't have a choice of re-rolling them. Now, this is where it is imperative you have some sort of idea about what you're doing. We don't really know what we're doing so far because we've not opened up any of the glades area, which are these areas around here. This is where more resources will be. So, for instance, we may get fertile ground here, which is where we can put our farm fields. We'll need something that uses fields, but we don't know if we get that or not. We may get more various different... there's a load of things that can happen, including these here. Dangerous glades always have something that will cause us a problem. More on that when we get to it. And if I was to look around, do we have forbidden one? No spooky boys. Really? That's... there we go. And these ones, yeah. You're only going in there because, well, yeah. They're a lot more dangerous, but anyway. Threats can do a lot of things, let's sort of pause this. Now, When a villager doesn't have any set job to do, they're building. Some villagers are better at building than others. I think the lizards are the best builders. But you also notice it's not stopping raining. It won't. It may get lighter, it may get heavier. So we're going to pause now. So our buildings are fixed. So woodcutters, I say wood obviously, so we're going to stick our beavers in. I want at least one beaver in one of these to sort of help out. Because again, we need the fuel for the fire. We also need it to build stuff with. So we do have some other resources. If I go up here, we have some coal, which they'll use as well. The better fuel in the half, the longer it lasts. But you'll generally end up with hundreds of wood, so it's fine. Because we'll also be cutting this down to look at stuff. Now, you'll see this setting tabs here. By default, they will cut every tree in their radius, which around our hub area here at the moment, that's going to be fine. I could, if I wanted to avoid opening glades, because there are certain problems that happen when you do open glades. We don't have any at the moment, but there could be. I could tell it to do that, and then I can designate. Sorry. Yeah, so we can sort of tell it to avoid opening glades, unless I specifically tell them, okay, open it now. I like keeping it on default because these are fine, they're neutral, we're not going to have too many problems with them. So it's fine. You don't need to fully staff them. And I'm not now going to do that. Because also I want to keep people building. I also going to want people for the camps as well. Because these camps, aside from giving us wood, we'll also get some food here from the roots. And some clay deposits here, which we can do other stuff with. You'll notice we also get a random chance for something else as well. We will always get clay for each charge of the node, but we may also get copper ore, we may also get roots. We know what we're getting, we may get some extras. Wood, in certain other zones, there are some more interesting things that can come out of wood, but for now, as you can see, we will get a chance at this. They may get sea marrow. I don't know if they're going to get sea marrow of clay, but I don't know. Now, I think this is just what the camp can produce, so ignore this. Yeah, ignore me. So, we now have this on top of the screen to also get rid of the read more. I said get rid of the read more. If I press escape here, we've got the encyclopedia. Loads of stuff there, you can read it. Including some stuff I haven't mentioned yet. So, how do we get reputation? Well, we can either make our people really, really happy. Back off. We can either we can either make our people happy, or we can complete certain objectives, which will be our orders here. You hear me? I'm pausing again in the background. So, orders. Once I click this button, a roll is going to happen. And the roll will come up with an order. That order, once completed, will earn us a reward, and it will also earn us reputation. However, the orders come in many shapes and sizes, and if I push this button, we get the nice little birdie boy. As you can see, we've got scavengers, all these objectives. I can do all of these, however, look at the rewards. This would be more helpful for us because, yes, we're making planks. We're going to give 10 planks away. We're going to get them back. But we're also going to get 10 fabric and 10 bricks, which are vital towards other advanced buildings, which we don't have yet. So that's probably better if we go for this one. Alternatively, we have reeds, which I don't know if we can do. I think there's some other recipes in craft that you can use reeds with. Or parts, which means we can build more camps, and this gives us 2 more villagers. So, it's not a question of what's easier for us to do, or what's giving us the most expensive reward. It's what's going to give us the better chance we have at the moment, as well as the future. And that's going to be this one here. So, we need to get 10 planks, that's easy enough. This one, booming economy, trade goods. Well, we got trade goods. Oh yeah, you know. We just sell them stuff and we're getting amber from it anyway. However, this one, problem solver. Open 2 glaives and we get 6 simple tools. For me to get simple tools, I need to have a way of getting material for it, which is additional buildings, plus another building to make them. Plus 3 more villages means we're feeding more people. We're also getting more planks. So while these 2 may give us more amber, which we can then trade on for more blueprints if we need to, it's also given us some biscuits here. Biscuits are a complex food that, if the races are expecting certain things, certain differences, complex food may be one race prefers biscuits, and so if they have access to biscuits, then they're happier. So I don't think anyone needs biscuits. I think it doesn't really matter, they're happier anyway, but there are certain races which prefer them. So this one's probably better because it's a lot easier for us to achieve this one, and we're getting some decent rewards. We're getting more people, but more people means we've got more people to complete things. And finally, shelters are having this one will complete itself. Basically getting wood, that will basically complete itself, as I said. However, 3 packs. We have access to a building known as the makeshift post, which we can then use to create inefficiently until we get better buildings. We can donate any building material, any form of crop, and then any provisions, which is basically like food and all this lot. And then we get +1 to our grain production and +1 to our fire access. So these are longer term, but again, I don't have a way of producing these stuff because I'm not actively producing them myself. So this might not come up. I might not be able to complete this objective until maybe next year, the year after that. There are no time limits on these, but it's probably better if I complete them sooner rather than later. So we're going to get clearing glades here because we also get jerky. And if I remember rightly, the lizards are twizzlers, aren't they? I think it's humans or jerky. Anyway, but I am going to be clearing a glade anyway. This is going to be for the sort of dangerous events or any sort of event, which is basically like opening boxes gang as well. In addition to orders, because then I have a nice little checklist, and before we forget, let's put down our crude workstation where we can get our planks on the go. So, in addition to orders, we also have cornerstones. Every year, we'll have, in addition to pick a new cornerstone, orders will crop up as you saw on a timer. Now, cornerstones, we don't have to pick these. So if there's nothing you'd like there, then you can pay to, once you get the reroll options, you can pay. But essentially, these will always be somewhat of a benefit. Some may come with a negative attached to them, but there will always be a positive. So for instance, when we eventually learn how to do pie making, every time we produce a pie, 10 pies, we get 10 jerky, which means we're getting more stuff out of the stuff we're producing. Alternatively, we can get more vegetables once we have the ability to farm vegetables. If we get the ability to farm vegetables, we have an extra 2 there per yield. So we have a problem. I don't have a farm at the moment, so what I could do is I could leave this screen up and then check our thing, which is what I'm going to do. So let's open our buildings. So now, we don't have a decent way of producing. So if we mouse over these, it'll show us what we've got and what we can get. The lumber mill here, you'll notice that the current best we have at the moment has a red squiggle under it. That is because the building we'll be using to make the planks isn't really suitable for doing it. It's the only one we have, but it's be generating the resource at a slower rate. Planks are vital building material. Less so than fabric, less so than brick. Now, it doesn't... Now, so, not picking they may come up later as part of a trade, or they may come up as another role. I'm going to go lumber mill here. Oh, that's the Hawaii doing this to me again. So we have 2 farms here, the plantation and the small farm. There's our vegetables. We also have a trapper's camp. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get lands to make farms. I also don't know if I'm going to get a resource that will require me to have a trapper's camp. I know which is more likely, so we'll go with a small farm. But I have instances where not having a trapper's camp has severely hurt me, because I don't know what the future holds. There is no time limit. I can just leave this screen here, but it also means I can't choose the next bonus. So I take a risk and go for a farm or a trapper's camp, and then pray it pays off, and if it doesn't, we'll make do with what we've got. Adapt and overcome. That is the main of the game. It's also what they say in the tutorial, but I skipped it, so there we are. So far. And we do get an ability to make flour, which is nice, so you can use that always. Scrolls and building materials is also, because at the moment we've only got sometimes. You'll notice some of these have got stars next to them. That's because they're probably better to build that particular resource than others. Excuse me, so if I could explain that we're building where it isn't 3 stars to make flour. So, I'm going to go with this one because flour is important to me. Flour is also a trade good, if I'm wrong. So, we're building houses. I have built 1 extra house, it doesn't matter. So, if we go back to here, we'll pick up the giant vegetables as well. All the list of all the things which are currently affecting us is down at the bottom left here. And let's do 4. Yeah, there we go. Sort of speed things up a bit. So how shelters work is fairly obvious. Everyone will always move into a shelter. Later on, Later on, we'll get species-specific buildings, which they'll be happier to move in, but they're also 2 rather than 3. We'll also get bigger shelters, which hold 6. So it's either we live in barely suitable, adequate buildings to get out of the rain, or we live in a swanky pad, which is specifically designed for our needs. It's a trade-off. Now then, so we've got the crude workstation here. I'm going to chuck a... It doesn't matter, I'm going to chuck you in there, actually. Yeah, we'll do that. Now, I don't want to use all our logs up, because we need them for fuel. And as you can see, it's already lowering down. But nice little up arrow here means we're getting more logs. However, I'm going to set a limit here. Now these limits are only for this specific building. If I was to go into, when I get the lumber mill built, which will require planks, and I say in the lumber mill, so say for here, let's say 20 planks. If I say 20 in the lumber mill, I'll end up with 40. So keep that in mind. Now, with recipes, you'll notice it's got a single highlight here. We can use multiple goods to create the same thing. So I could use 6, okay, it's fiber, 6 reeds, or 6 leather. Remember, I could have picked reeds up. So I could have used the reeds, turned that into fabric, and used that. Plant fiber, I think we get it from various different things anyway, so we also deselect it. Or we can also select all of them, which is what I do here, because we need fabric. We don't have any, so we can get it. Now, we do have clay, we are mining it. Later on, if we upgrade our building, upgrade our city, we will be able to start with stone, or choose to start with stone. So we can turn that into bricks. So, how this works now is they'll go to the storehouse, they'll pick up the stuff, take it to the building. And, sorry, let's just go off there. And you'll see, okay, yeah, we're carting that over. I'll make the woods. They will always take, even if they don't have enough to actually make the goods, we're in clearance now. If they don't have enough material to take the goods, they'll still store it in the building. So if we go here, you see they've got 12 logs to turn into planks. They're already making bricks, so that's where the clay has gone. And they will then produce that. Once they've done that, we can then tell them to. They will then take the goods to the warehouse. Delivery in progress. There we go. So it's always good to have roads in between your production buildings and your main storage or other storage should you choose to need them. However, it's also worth pointing out camps you can move, and they are going off a finite resource. Manufacturing buildings like this, I don't think I can move this one. Oh, I can, okay. There'll be certain buildings, I don't think you can move the lumber mill for instance, where you can't move them. So it's always best to have plans for expansion and then plans on sort of working out. What is this weird clicking noise? It's a lot unusual. Anyway, so we've got the small farm, can't do anything with that. So the lumber mill, I can build that now. We've got the bricks and the thing. However, I don't have room for it, so let's move them over here. You don't need to put them on the road again. I keep stressing this because I play Anno, and Anno's like, oh, but you need a road connection. Various other games like, they need road connections to like, the road needs roads. Road's good. Why did I put you there? No. So I can move these guys further away. And in fact, let's cause some chaos. Storm's over. You'll have noticed there would have been a different also. You'll notice that during the storm, our resolve would have dipped by 4. So you would have seen red arrows and blue arrows. If we get above this blue line here, they'll go from content to happy, and they'll passively generate our reputation. Reputation, which we can now earn. So let's go into our orders. In 2 minutes, we will get our next orders we can choose from. We'll deliver this. So we now have a bunch of fabric and bricks turn up in our warehouse. But you heard that noise? Bar increase, and it would have removed from this. Now, if I had this screen up when I had that taken off, you'd have noticed it would have dropped that way. It will always take away from impatience, because we're doing what she asks us to. Our provision's good. I got away with making flour, so I don't really need that. Let's go bakery there, I think. Yeah. Nice. So let's go Cornerstone. Deserted caravans. We don't have anything to do with trading at the moment. So taking this means we make goods faster, but then I can't rely on a trader to maybe bolster our material up. But also, I won't have a trader to buy more blueprints off should I need them. They also can give us boosts as well. So if we're okay with the lot we have at the moment, then that's fine. We can go and do things faster. We just won't be able to trade. However, if we fulfill a advanced need for brawling, so for instance if I had, I believe it's a tavern that gives us, we give them ale in the tavern and then they can be able to do brawling, which again is another way of boosting resolve. If we have 5 villagers who've had this need fulfilled, then they'll get more rewards from any glaive events we have running at the moment. I keep saying glaive. Yes, we're surrounded by polearms. But yeah, so both of these are equally useless for us at the moment. But I would go with, I could always say take neither, but I'd rather go with this one to have something once I get it, but it's going to be far later on than having no trading. So we have this one. And that is generally what this game is about. It's like, yes, you're building up a... Oh yeah, new ghost. So, I mean, yes, let's finish the point up first. Yes, you are doing a lot of second guessing, a lot of hoping that something will turn up. Like, for instance, I'm hoping to at least a nice big plot of land to, I know, like eggs or hunting grounds or anything like that. That's what I'm hoping for. But we can also control it by, okay, so if I know that then I wasn't going to take a trading option, well, that's why I didn't pick the trading option earlier, just in case I may have fancied that. Or there's a lot of play in it, and then as you play the game and you get more used to it, you unlock more basic buildings. Like, for instance, for now, I don't have access to these race's specific houses unless it comes through via a reputation increase. Later on, once I've upgraded the city enough, I will start with one of these houses already unlocked. So, say for instance, I think you unlock the human one first. So, be like, okay, well I know I can get humans more content straight away, so I can start off with more humans and be able to sort them out quicker. So, there is a lot of play, and there's a lot of ways you can cut the randomness down as you progress through the game. So early on, it's going to be frustrating, but stick with it. That being the case, we have newcomers, and we do have humans as our third one, because we actually need to unlock the harpers in our fourth. I forgot about that. So, every year, after the storm settles, we get an increase of people. They can be 2 or 3, they can be 1. They'll always come with extra goods as well. This is a good idea, or this is a good idea. So we'll look up here. We do have food. It's even or dropping at the moment. So we're going to be taking 3 people on regardless. It may be a good idea to bring some extra food in. That's going to go quickly though, especially as we build up. This could get us the materials we need in order to boost our food production. And remember, humans are better at farming, and we're hoping we're going to have a farming slot. There with that one. So as I say, it is your decisions at the end of the day. Okay. So your decisions at the end of the day could make or break you, but don't be disparaged if something turns against you, because there's always a way out. And if you do end up failing, you will get half the resources you generated in that map anyway. So you can take those resources, improve the base, and improve the city, in order to probably give you a bit more advantage. So for instance, that maybe, okay, well, no, they weren't getting enough resolve because of not having their houses. Okay, if I upgrade this particular district, it's, again, you can always cut it down. So I'm repeating myself there, but it's worth remembering that yes, this is a roguelike city builder, and yes, things are going to go hilariously wrong. You can have a couple of settlements that are going to have pretty much near to no food for a long time, but you'll be able to squeak it through in other ways. So don't be afraid of things going badly. Try and sort of either work a way around it or prepare for it in advance. So we cut through to a glaive. We're going to get rid of that. It is spawned with a load of mushrooms, which we'll need the herbalist camp for. We don't start with a herbalist camp. We can't use these. We have an event here. This is an event. An destroyed encamper. Now, every time you get sort of these goodie chests like this, you'll notice we have a choice. We can welcome the new people, which is going to give us a lizard and a beaver. I already had the spare house, it's already filled up as well, by the way, because 3 is extra shelter. Alternatively, we can send them to the Citadel to get amber. Amber is then used in trading to traders for specific goods. So, for instance, if a trader came, I'll probably put the trader post down in a minute, actually. Yeah, so I would want the amber, please. Be assigned to. Now, before I click investigate, we'll click the vegetables. We don't have the 4 vegetables. We do have 4 eggs, and we do have the 4 roots. But look over here. We have no way of replenishing the eggs we have. And roots, we're getting them from, I believe we're getting these from our scavengers here. So let's choose this. They will now take these 2 people will then go here, pick up the roots, come over here, clear this. Once they clear this, they'll get 10 amber, which we will then use into party in our trading post, which we will stick. Trading posts start off cheap. What's that down there? No. Can I move you down? again, it's worth pointing out, you don't need this on a road. Like I can put this like here. They go from the building to the resource, the building to the warehouse. Excuse me, sorry. So it's always worth keeping in mind where camps are, but also bearing in mind that camps are temporary, so don't panic too much. Now, I can't move that. Now, once you put this down, you cannot move it. So since I don't like the way I put that, I haven't spent anything on it, so I'm not losing anything. So I've got to be move you back over here. Why, yes, I am able about over that road there. I don't know why. There we go. All sorted. So, new orders have triggered. We'll deliver this for 4 more people. Oops. And now we've got 2 more to pick from. They do, as the ranks go up, so too does the expectations. So we can either build 50 roads here, have 16 villages sheltered for 20 seconds, or start making jerky. This is tempting, because I know there is a building that makes jerky, and I know that it's a meat product. My lizards will be better at doing it. I also get 40 meat from it, and it's improved that. So I'm going to go with that one. I have no way of completing it at the moment, but we may get one later. Beaver influx. We're making roots already. In fact, we have that to complete that straight away. We get 15 ale. No way of spending it, I don't believe. And we just get 5 more beavers straight off the bat. Bearing in mind, the more people we have, the more food we need. So I'm going to pick that, but I'm not going to send it in yet. Because if I send it in now, I'm going to start draining my food. Right, so we've got to trade it. Traders, it's rare you'll get one straight away. If you build one earlier, you might have a delay. They will never turn up during storm, and they're only here for a short amount of time. Now, what's that? Planting crops, what crops? So, there is... Our 10 amber is not worth 10 amber over here. So, for instance, if I put 1 down here, it's only got 125 amber, so it is spend 2 amber to get it. Note the bar at the bottom. So, for instance, I have no way of using copper ore, so we do that. And he doesn't want to give me 2 for it because of that 1.25. So I could try and buy something else. So for instance, I've got no way of making fabric. We've got 16, that's fine. We're making enough reeds. 16 of those, that's fine. There's nothing here we really want, but he's not selling us any blueprints, so we're not trading, so we're going to keep it. There are different traders. I believe our quartermaster friend he does a little bit of everything. There'll be some which are more suited towards food production, there'll be some more towards rare material. Ah, perfect. And there we go. Right, so first off, that little message that pops up that I dismissed will tell you what's in the glaive. We have 3 eggs here. I could build a new camp, or I could just move this one over once this one is empty. Should be fairly... yeah, it's about left, so we'll move that one over. More importantly, we have a farm here. Now, if you notice, I'm zooming in, not all of this material... oh, wait. Not all of this material is being gathered. So if I just mark this off here, and move over to another place that's opened up there. Move you over. Yes, it is. So that's going to start cutting these down. That's going to free up all of this farmland here. We'll talk to that in a moment. Right, well, we have more glaive over here, some abandoned caches. This is why we need tools. I don't have tools, so I can't open that. We have the plants here. I can pick up those using a harvester's camp, which we'll do. I don't believe we've got one. The harvester's camp and the early access game, they may change how that looks. So despite the fact that that's a bit of a trek for him, it's a scavenger's camp, it's not going to last that long anyway. I wonder what's causing that beep, to be honest. But no, the task is finished or something like that. I'm going to move across. So for Harvester's camp, we're going to get 2 Yugos, because you're not doing much anything at the moment. And the stone, the sort of the sea marrow here. I think it's sea marrow. Yeah, sea marrow here. We're going to get the guys over here. Now, you notice, we got given jerky because of a completed order. Oh look, it completed itself for free. More blueprints. More blueprints means more options. So, we can re-get the Trapper's camp if we wanted it. Or we can get the Forager's camp. Honestly, sometimes there will be certain camps which are improvement over others. So I think the Forager's camp is an improvement over a Scavenger's camp because you get a actual bonus for working this. But there are also certain spots that require it. So I think it's like broccoli. If you get wild broccoli that grows in some like glades, you'll need that camp to pick it. So the problem here is we're not too sure what we're getting, but I also would very much like to know what my next blueprint is. Now, as we build the city up, we'll have a chance to re-roll these. We don't at the moment. I'm going to pick Trapper's camp because that's more likely to turn up. And Brickyard's good because then we can start getting crystallized dew. And I need rain catchers for that. Alternatively, Cookhouse is good because it gives us more options. And I know the lizards need skewers, so we'll get the Cookhouse then. We don't have any way of getting meat production, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. If it comes to it. Still a good idea to have it because there's very other tasks it can complete. And that means we can start producing this worth happiness because it's a warm, I think it's warm anyway. Right. Scavenger's camp is done. So, press F to pick it up. And you notice there's nothing, so move this over here. You never need to remember what building needs what node, because you'll get told when it's done. If you pick it up and there's no circles around, well, you don't need to. So now I remember, as it's storm, that's now active. So this will drop. If I wanted to avoid that, what I could do is I could burn wood, any fuel. So wood will reduce hostility, which doesn't help us in this instance. That'll do this quicker. This will make us sure we can complete glades faster. That way, say for instance, if there was a particular event that's decreasing our resolve and it's getting to a critical point, I can start chucking steam air into the fire to try and speed it up. Or in case there are some things which explode out here. And oil is just production speed, so we're oiling this on. I could also change this. So a human one, we can slow the Queen's impatience down slower. The beaver one, fuel burns for longer, if I remember rightly. But the lizard, I like the lizard one because those ones is free resolve, so. We do have 5 people at home, so that's going to be a bit more. Let's build the road out here. Like so. So I need 1, 2, at least 3 more. There we go. Now you notice there's this bar here. Do I have access to it? Right. I do, cool. So, how glades are upgraded is we get decorations around them, and we get to a minimum population. So we had 8, we started with 8. So we need 4 comfort ones. These ones will be for the blue barriers. This is going to change, or they are thinking about changing this, so... Or at least offering a way so you don't have to worry about beautifying your settlement for it. So watch this space on that one. What I tend to do is I tend to just have... There's a few benches down there. And we'll do the power on down this way. And there we are. Officer's camp is done. Pick it up. No circles, so we can now get rid of the camp. This will give us the 10 wood and the parts back. So, let's get our new people. Let's get that one. And cornerstone. I guess if you wanted to have like just a massive pile of lizards somewhere, you would pick Surprise Child, but if I have a decent egg production, I've suddenly got an exploding populace, which is not a good thing, because that's going to send our whole sanity through the roof. So, leisure, we don't have that again, but if we do get it, it's a good bonus. So, you see that little flame effect then? That's our hub upgraded. An upgraded hub means we're now an encampment rather than just a settlement. 2 more resolve. Now, you'll notice it mentions corruption there. If you remember me talking about the difficulties, corruption comes from that. So we don't have to worry about too much there. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? Let's see if we've got stuff to sell. So we need 19, so we need 9 more. Let's sell 200 wood, shall we? I was expecting us 12, so let's go with... Well, we're not getting that, obviously. So 9's what I want. Yep, we can do that. In fact, that's perfect. So now we have the forage scout. There is also a... I think it's a cornerstone reward that also grants you a... Oh, hello. That also grants you a free blueprint as well. Which is what we're doing there. So that's the citadels getting plenty of people. We also still need the herbalist camp. So under the citadels we're getting plenty of people. And the amber is more important to us, so there we go. So now we can start building then. We're going to do this. I'm doing this probably a little slowly. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but we're okay. We can take our time. We don't need to rush to this. So get the lumber mill down. And we'll get the rain mill down for this. Now, we don't need to wait until the building is built to change these. So we want 20 there. Scrolls, I go 32 because of the stack size on it, but I'm taking that off because we have nothing to spend them on yet. We can't build them. Yeah, there you go. We can't build them. So, trade goods. We do have water skins, and we will be getting flour. So we can do this, and I would like to keep that at 20. Yeah, 20 there. And we go up to here, which is our rain mill. Flour. I would like to keep, say, 30 flour. Take the scrolls off. Building materials, that's off. Because I do not need building materials. Building materials will take away from... Actually, probably, yes, I'm building materials. Actually, saying that, I've got no use of copper ore. So yeah, take any copper ore we have, convert it into building materials and trade it off that way. Specialization bonus to working... So we could effectively do this. So we've got the human there that's going to guarantee us more production, 10% chance, 5% resolve because he's working in something that he enjoys. So we can sort of game the system here a little. So here, obviously, we're getting the beaver in it. What you may do is I may take a beaver off one of our woodcutting camps and check him in there. So stone cutting camp is done. I know for a fact there's some more down here. So our farm is sort of cleared now. So for farming, I should have done this in drizzle, but it's fine. I can do it now. we have to designate that area as small farms, and then we put the farm in a catchment area of it. Now, that would work, funnily enough. But, yeah, let me move back up here, try and get rid of these trees here. In fact, no. Can you go up here? And I'd rather you go... Let's go first. I don't think we'll play on until I complete the map. I may cut it down slightly, so you're not having to sit here with me constantly talking and all this lot. So we've got problem solver, that's going to give us 3 more. Now, are we ready for 3 more people? Not yet. There we are. So the humans will do not much in this farm at the moment. But what we can do is, you know that trapper camp we got? Ah, that's a surprise, isn't it? Now the trapper's camp will also get the eggs down here as well, which means, it sounds daft, but I'm going to get rid of that camp there and make sure this camp is in range of all of them, which is there. Or it would be, if that wasn't in the way. We don't have, we got plenty of other things in there. You can just delete resources like that. Don't do that unless you know you don't need them. What's the bit there? Oh, right, yeah, the building. That's fine, we'll move it over. They may think they can't get out there. It doesn't matter. But the trapper's camp, although it's the same thing to pick the eggs up, if we use the lizards in the trapper's camp to do it, we get that 10% bonus to 10% chance to bonus resources. It makes sense. So we get this to pick up the 3 now, and I won't choose the beavers yet. Hub is what we already have, plus 12 tools. That's a given. We get 2 lizards, or if we were going for, this is pretty easy to get happy. But we also get more production to our salt jerky. But I've got to keep it above 14. What is it at the moment? 7. Bear in mind it's also storm, so... No, I'll go with that one because so we can get additional items for building, which means we get buildings built faster. Lost knowledge. When we're doing the more dangerous glades, we make it option to pick up stones. That's where that comes in. Alternatively, 2 caches as well. We've got 1 we could open, but I'm going to go with that one for the big food. And let's double stack and get this one because, yes, we're doing trading. That we have the means to complete this. But we've got nowhere to put our training gear in. So, yeah, there we go. We have, so I think training gear is tavern, one of the bigger builds, one of the same. So now we have 2 blueprints. Let's go with the... I want to see the brewery. Nah, I'll be looking to use bricks to kill them. Hey, I've got to see who I'm joking. Yeah, we've got no way making. Oh, wait, that. We've got no way making jerky. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool. Oh, that's annoying. Honestly, though, that's better than we're doing jerky at the moment. But are we going to get more farms, though? Gets us roots. Yeah, incense we can use as a trade good, yeah, okay. So to say, yeah, you got certain decisions there which may pay off, may not, so it's always worth keeping in mind. There's lots of... And keep that area safe down there, actually. Because what I can do is... Oh yeah, I can't do it because I'm unlocked it. So I'm used to... Probably jumped over to whatever say. Ah, right. Woodcutter's prayer. So, if I was to close this window, that would disappear. We would yeet our 166 logs out of the window, but then we get +1 to wood production. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would you do that? Because I end up drowning in logs anyway. Remember, we're good for it at the moment, but we may have stuff which uses logs and planks in the future, or we're going to be building a lot more buildings. So, although it seems crazy, it is a good idea to do it, especially early on. We're about halfway through, by the way. So we are going to get a low fuel warning. It's not a problem. We will quickly get more fuel. Don't panic about that. So we got Zorg again, which is annoying. We also have Herb Garden. We have a way of producing. We are producing roots. Free incense. Thank you very much. So we don't need our trade goods. So we're going to yeet all of them. Yes, I know. Building materials. Why do I get building materials? Was I given them? I'll double check that. So that's 8. So it's about 5. It's like 1.5. It's really annoying sometimes. There we go. 6. So that's some back. I could get planted. Yeah, we'll put the shovels back again. I think they improved these squares during Storm. I can't remember, but this basically gets more. It's basically like fertilizing it, I think, or something like that. It's something they do. I will take the 3 logs, please, thank you. Right. So you see these have got their these marks above them. That is because they can't. Oh yeah, that's right. So I could carry on trading my building materials, but I need those. So what I could do is I could ask them to use planks as well, and then hard limit it to 20. So we're not having like 400 logs piling up. So we are getting a use for them. We just can't. Same with scrolls. So we can do this. I don't have the pigment to do it. Or the line to do it, so we'll keep that off anyway. Flour, we're not getting enough grain? Use roots. We haven't got anything that uses flour yet, so not a problem. Get that steakhouse down. The other one was a kiln, I was thinking about. Let's put this down over here. And we need 3 more shelters. 1, 2, 3. One thing we can also do is, because we know the farm's going to stay there, pull the road to it. And we can move shelters fairly easily, so again, we don't need shelters to have roads. It's just, it's always nice to have a certain infrastructure. I play too much, I know, I'm sorry, right. So smokehouse is done. This is both meat and warmth, so it's going to get 3 lizard boys chucked in it immediately. We do those 2, and yep, to make jerky, hard limit of 33, although we shouldn't meet that limit. Now we're getting 3 instants anyway, so I'm going to say 10 on those. And pottery, 10 on that. So again, they're working it, they're having a nice big old boost to their happiness, and they're going to be nice and content as well. And this one again, all the lizard boils. More lizards is more good. Bricks and stone, that's going to be 20. And if you do get any... No. I want the jerky to be made elsewhere, not in the kiln. The smokehouse is more effective at making the jerky, so I'm going to completely ban it here. Yes, I have more buildings to make more jerky, but that one is going to take the same resources to do it slower. So, not a point. Low on fuel. That is because we're using the logs. We're using the logs because we're making more planks. So what we can do here, you stop doing it. You've got to stop making those as well. And what we can do is let's put another woodcutter's camp down. So we've got plenty of people. And we also need some more room, so. I also, at this point, would start consider making a new, like digging out to one of these sort of dangerous areas, so we can get a half here. Because halves, we can make our own half. We can't overlap it, so I would have to be over here to make a new one. So we can build more houses, increase our building range. Buildings, most buildings, like production buildings, farms, camps, don't need to be in the radius of the half. Stuff like taverns, guild halls, and all that lot of stuff where people are going and milling about do. So it's, and of course buildings do as well. So settlements do as well. So there we are. I don't think I have a way of making luxury goods. Agriculture is a good one to get, so let's go for that one. Beaver majority. I don't think we have 16 beavers. No, we have 8. No way producing ledgers. I don't think we got anyone producing luxury goods. That would be a good one to have, though. Ooh. Education. Scrolls? No way to spend them, though. So, I could go trade in luxury and hope we get that anyway. We don't need to complete all the orders to win the game. We just need to get our max reputation up. What was that? Trader. Yeah, trader. Yeah, we can also donate for it as well. And yeah, so again, there we go. We've got a load of goods we can sell. For more amber, that's going to be about 60. No! 14, 2 off. And I am going to want that actually, there we go. So yes, it's a bit of a waste of amber, but at the same time, we're getting on the track towards victory. This is fine! You know, this will constantly go up, but now you notice we do have one hostility. Having another half will give us a nice big chunk towards removing that, because we're always getting more villagers. And also, because we've hired more woodcutters, that's also going to increase it as well. So, we are fine, we have plenty of resolve, we can take that extra 2 points if we need to. But at the same time, it's also something we should be considering in the future. Now, you're still doing that way. I could, in theory, just do that. Well, cut that right there. That's I don't believe that's retroactive, but I've got more. I can make biscuits. Can't I? Can I double check what I can? Can I double check that? No, I don't have access to that, do I? No. Yeah. There are 3 menu. Duff. If you can't spell, it's in food, so... Biscuits. Oh, I got 2 ways of making biscuits, okay. Ignore, light rot is the mechanic you get at higher difficulties. So yeah, we'll go with that one. Rare time actually do pick that one, but just straight up give me more bamba, yeah. Copper bars, and we're producing tools at the moment, so that's fine. And yeah, as I say, we just carry on going. So yeah, I may cut it here, to be honest. So got all the basics sorted out. And so yeah, so I might continue this map to its completion or its inevitable ruin, but for now you gotta get a general idea. Try and keep this, try not to make like a 2-hour long one, so we'll chop it here and we'll come back to it in a moment. So yeah, see you in a bit.